heterosexual, but he
I
derives
think it's
sexual.
autogynephilia.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, but I think the sexual...
Fully explain that.
Yeah, well, they derive sexual pleasure. They get turned on by seeing themselves in the clothes of women.
Yes.
Or feeling it.
Yes.
But I think the sexual instinct is directing them towards personality expansion. I look at it in Jungian terms. So part of the process of personality expansion in the deep psychoanalytic sense is first you're a persona, or first you're nothing. Then you develop a persona, which is a way of presenting yourself in a socially acceptable way to the world. And maybe you confuse yourself with your persona. Now, you've had conversations with people on your podcast who are stiff and you can't get a dynamic conversation going. And it's because they're acting out their persona. You're not really talking to them. You're talking to an act that they've constructed. It's a puppet. An act that they've constructed to make themselves socially acceptable to the world.
And sometimes it's just anxiety.
Yeah, sure. It can be anxiety too. But then often under anxious conditions, people will revert to their persona because it's a well-rehearsed set of routines and that they know is socially acceptable. Okay, so for the Jungians, the first step outside the persona was the shadow. Carl Jung, followers of Carl Jung, or students of better terminology, was discovery of the shadow. Oh, I thought I was the good person here, but it turns out that I've got like some darkness. And you often see this with, imagine you have hyper-compassionate people who are dependent and they won't engage in conflict, so they're always oppressed. And so then when you talk to them, you find out they're really, really resentful and they have a lot of fantasies of revenge, like a lot. And so then you work with them and you think, okay, you have something to say and do here. You've got some harsh words to say, maybe to your partner. You've got some things to say to your boss. You got to spine up and say it. And that's part of incorporating that, especially aggression. So agreeable people, compassionate people don't like aggression. But like, that's like not liking sex. It's dangerous. But it's necessary. And so you want to integrate it. And if you don't, it has its own life. You know, you see people all the time who, they're so nice. You can't even be in the same room with them. They're that nice. But they're resentful and passive-aggressive. They take it out in all sorts of ways, partly because they're always unhappy. They're often moralistically judgmental because they're not saying what they have to say. They got to integrate that shadow. So that was part of it. And the shadow consists of, in part, all the things about you that you've deemed morally unacceptable and failed to develop. And so sometimes that's aggression, often. Sometimes it's sexuality. Often, and so it'll manifest itself in impulsive, aggressive sexuality, say under conditions of alcohol intoxication when it leaks out.
Aggressive, meaning like rough sex? Like
Forced. Yeah, definitely.
Forced. So you mean like rape?
Well, or it doesn't have to go all the way to rape. It can be like over-aggressive sexual compulsion in a dating situation.